So today I'm excited to get to sit down with Eric Combs, who is the 2020 Illinois State Teacher of the Year and someone who I am proud to call my friend. And Eric has agreed to sit down and talk with us about how he has maybe not solved the problem, but sort of made a situation of being the only teacher in an area, geographical area, making the best of that situation and actually finding his people, finding his other teachers through our, modern tools like social media. So Eric, why don't you take a second and kind of introduce yourself better than I just did with like where you're at and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I was just named the Illinois Teacher of the Year just over the weekend, and it's all been such a huge rush of trying to figure out now what my role is with that and meetings and all kinds of stuff. But I guess I'll kind of talk you through what led me to this point, because really I was pretty well unknown 2 years ago. I just absolutely normal and nobody knew I existed. And that's the way a lot of us are in these rural communities. The town I live in, Olney, Illinois, we got 7,000 people. But the thing about it is it's in southern Illinois and it's surrounded by cornfields for a couple hours on any side. So even though there's 7,000 people here, you leave the town and there's nobody for about another 30 miles before you come to the next itty bitty tiny town. So in my district, there are 2,000 students. There's about 113 teachers in the entire district, and the district is the whole county. And I'm the only beginner band director that's here. In college, they really kind of focus on high school level, and they assume that if you're going to be a band director, you're going to be teaching high school. So you spend a lot of time talking about that and learning how to perform at a professional level, but nobody really ever talks about curriculum for the first 3 years. So I kind of winged it for the first 12 years, making my own individual curriculum, and I had no input from anybody else. And so I started talking to people about curriculum and realized there isn't one. And I come up with something that was working. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should start sharing this. So there are several band director Facebook sites out there that I joined and just started blogging about my curriculum. Eventually, after about a half a year of this, they kicked me off the site. I knew one of the administrators up in Chicago, and I messaged him and I said, "Why did I get kicked off this site?" And he said, "Well, we've got a whole lot of people that have been complaining that you're making money off of this." I said, "I'm not making any money off of anything. I'm just doing this to be helpful." And they said, "Really? You're not doing any of this for pay? It's all free?" Because I was sharing a lot of ideas, and I'd even written a book that I put on there for free. And they said, "Well, maybe you should just come up with your own blog, because we really don't want you posting all this good stuff on here because people are just going to keep on complaining to us." They said, "Maybe you can still be a part of the group, just don't post much." So I thought, well, if they're not going to let me post in their place, I guess, and it was kind of a bit spiteful. I came up with this thought right on the spur of the moment. I made a Facebook page and I called it Thoughts from a Beginning Band Director. Beginning band meaning a beginner band members who were just starting band. And I thought, I'll get 7 or 8 people follow this. And word got out that I'd got kicked out of the 2 sites. People were mad. And within about a week, I had 3,000 followers.
Oh, they all followed you.
People said, I'd really like to see what's going on inside your classroom too. I thought, why not? So what I did was I had all of the kids and parents and administrators sign permission forms that they could be videotaped. And I set up a couple of cameras in my classroom just from different angles. Spent some time learning how to edit these videos so you can kind of pan back and forth between the 2 cameras. And I got some editing software, and I just started recording all my class periods and making YouTube videos. I put about 60 of them out there, and just regular lessons, lectures of stuff that I do. And over the course of some time, I ended up with about 5,000 followers doing that. And then it just snowballed from there. So then people were saying, I'd like all this in a book format. So I wrote another book, put it all together in that, and it's all been free. And then I saw that, this is a great way for people down in rural Illinois to kind of connect with each other, because there are so few of us down here. So I just made another Facebook site that was called Southern Illinois Band Directors, and just signed up every band director that I knew of. And so we can chat with each other that way. There's only 40 of us on there. There's not a lot of us down here.
I think that's really rad. Now, I am not a music teacher. I mean, I have lots of music teacher friends, but I come from the visual arts teacher background, and our experience, I think, is, even though our content is different, I think our experience is very similar because often there is one art teacher in a building. And that's kind of part of my journey as well, because you didn't have anyone to share with. You didn't have your department of your other science teachers or other ELA teachers in the building.
Yeah, with me, it's actually, I think, helped me more than anybody else, because I mean, I've been sharing all this stuff, and I made my own curriculum through this. Like I said, you come up with your stuff on your own, and what I came up with was totally unique. It was an individualized system of instruction where everybody in my program gets their own individual assignments. And it's hiring curriculum, and everybody, it's for mastery. Kids can do things as many times as they need to until they master it, and then they go on. But everybody's moving at their own pace.
Okay.
And because of that, my curriculum is extremely individualized, and it helps the really fast learners to kind of skyrocket. And some of them are playing like high school level music and as a sixth graders. So what ended up happening with me is, through my blogs, people started messaging me to ask me how they could implement this curriculum into their programs. And over the course of the last year, there's been over 650 of these people who have called me. We've talked on the phone. We've had conversations on Messenger, email, and I've met so many people through that. So like I say, it's probably helped me more than everybody else, because now I got some connections through.
So in thinking about your situation from like a design thinking cycle, a design thinking process, your issue was that you are very much an island. You're very much, alone, not only in a like literal geographical standpoint, but from like a curriculum perspective, and being a beginner band teacher as opposed to a more advanced band teacher, which makes perfect sense because art doesn't really have a lot of curriculum either. You make up a lot of your own stuff. So that was kind of the issue. That was the problem you were having, was how do you overcome these barriers, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you decided to start reaching outward, hit some other barriers, came up with your own way. I like that you sort of like, you would hit a block and then you would go around, and you hit a block and you go around, and you just, I guess it's that perseverance and just refusal to just like accept things as they are and just kind of like get stale and like fall, and just to stall out. And I think that that's really cool. I would say, what are your other ideas? Because usually people like us, we still have like, I've done this and this and this, but I'd like to see this and this and this. So what do you imagine ahead?
First, I got to tell you something that I've already done, but it kind of leads into it. After I had all of this free stuff of my own and ended up with all these videos and books and flashcards and all that stuff, I wanted a central place to put it. And I thought, it would be nice if I had a central place to put it, but other people could put their stuff there too as well. So I just got a WordPress site, www.banddirectorshare.com, and started telling people that they could add anything free that they wanted to. And I put a bio page for everybody who did, with a link to all their stuff, and I put my stuff on there. And that started in December last year. And I just checked today, there's over 16,000 views from 5,000 unique visitors from 41 countries. One of the ways that I found to kind of kill a couple of birds with one stone, to get people involved, wanting to be more involved in doing this, give them a worthwhile way to do it, and also to bring another dimension to this band director's share. Instead of just sharing your own stuff, I put a donate button on there, and people could donate money to this orphanage in Honduras, where they have 70 free instruments, but they have no teacher. So I did this, 3-4 months ago, and immediately, through donations from the band directors, because they're the only ones going on there, we were able to hire a full-time instructor in Honduras for an entire year. And I'm hoping now that is part of the poll, I can tell people, put some free materials on here, and that's where the money's going.
In looking back at all the things that you've done, is there anything that, like reflecting back on it, are there any maybe not missteps, but things that you wish you'd done differently or things you would change?
Um, you know, social media wise, I'm not the most fluent. I had to do some research on what a Facebook page was, and I still have no clue what Twitter is, not a clue. I did also kind of look into how to blog, and I
Mhm.
think I went about it completely the wrong way. And then I
Okay.
kind of got stuck in it because I thought the way to do it was through Facebook because that's all I knew. But then as I get this thing going and I've got these 3,000 followers on there, I realized that only about a tenth of the people that are following me ever see any of it at any given time. Um,
The Facebook feed. Yeah.
yeah, unless they select that they want it to come to them always, which nobody
Yeah.
ever. I get a lot of times people tell me, I saw this from you, but I just can't find it. And
Hmm.
so I find myself all the time finding stuff for people and sending them the links for it. And that's another issue I'm having right now. It's just so spread out. I need to.
Okay. All right. I got something for you. Ready for this?
Yes.
Have you heard of Wakelet? Wakelet.
No, but I'm writing this
We
down.
need to get on this one right now because what you just described, like where I have all these links and people can't find it and they can't do this. Wakelet is like, I'm gonna say it's like Pinterest, but it's not.
Okay.
It's more professional. You can collaborate on things, but you create like a Wakelet board,
Okay.
and in there you can like aggregate like basically everything. They can be web links, they can be tweets, they can be images, they could be PDFs, they could be videos. So
Mhm.
you can create Wakelet. I don't even know if they're boards. They might be Wakelet collections. And you could have one that's just like beginner band curriculum. You could have one that's like social media for music educators. You could have one that's like Southern Illinois, music education. You're tackling this problem of these like band directors not having a way to connect. What's your next problem? Like, what's your next thing that you want to tackle? Like, what do you have?
A thought that I have that I've been wrestling around with is actually my mind goes about 50 billion different directions. But number one, where do we go next with these donations? I mean, we tackled this goal of what we needed to do.
Mm,
What do we now try to fund after this? And then I'm also thinking, if we could get together some kind of a website where all of this information for band directors can be shared, which I already have, but videos in particular, if I can get a big collection of videos for professional development, then can we do this with other disciplines in education?
yeah. How do we scale this? And
Yeah, right now there's such a feeling of, okay, I've got this intellectual property that's mine, but I'm not going to share it with you unless you come to my convention, and then you're going to pay me to get it, and then none of the information is ever disseminated unless your district has enough money to send you to one of these, which could be well over $1,000 to do that, and people just don't get the opportunity to collaborate. And then you have your copyright laws, and nobody just wants to share their stuff. Along the lines of all of this, something else that I'm looking into is with the state, is and you've been we're in the same group, we're both looking into it, is this idea of how do we get teachers around the state to mentor each other? Me being the only band director at middle school level in the county, um, it's not like I can go to anybody else in my district and talk to them about directing a middle school band because I'd be
mm-hmm.
talking. The department meeting consists of me. I'm talking to myself.
Oh yeah,
Now there used to be mentoring programs in Illinois, but it was before we could do virtual meetings like you and I are doing.
yes,
So it had to be on the phone, or you had to drive to the person to see them. But funding was cut for that, and now that we have this capability,
yes,
where could it go? I mean, we could have mentoring meetings
yeah,
all over the state like we're having right now, and that would be awesome.
yeah,
That is a way that older teachers like us could find something to kind of change up the pace and give us a
yeah.
goal to work towards and give us a little extra incentive money to do it, and it's going to help the profession. It ties in so closely to everything that I've been doing the last couple of years, trying to make these networks. So how can we take something like what I've been doing and just make it a state thing?
Yeah. Let us know where someone watching this can find you. So we know you have a lot of different places. So I'm going to have you say them, and then what I'll do is I'll put them in little titles. I'll put it down in the description box below.
So the primary one is my Facebook profile, which is just Eric Combs. And if you go to try to find that, it'll be really easy. It's the bald guy in the blue shirt that says Illinois Teacher of the Year. So Facebook blogs, these pages, Thoughts from a Beginning Band Director, Sound Beginnings Beginner Band Series. Also, and these are all for band directors, www.banddirectorshare.com. All right. I also have a personal website that has a link to all my stuff on it, and we're making a tiny URL out of it, and you can see it at the bottom of the screen, wherever, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen will put it there.
Yes. So I do appreciate you taking the time to sit and chat, and I know we will talk a bunch in the future, and I look forward to hearing about all of your adventures. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe to the Reset EDU channel for the latest project updates and episodes. If you're interested in a reset for your own classroom, be sure to fill out the form at bit.ly/resetedu. Thank you for watching.